Hello, I'm Rick Joyner. Thank you for joining us for Prophetic Perspectives on current events. And we're going to get to the current events. Yesterday, if you joined our program, saw the program yesterday, we got Kamran Yaraei, Suzy Wills Yaraei on our set, and we were going back and revisiting your history, amazing testimony. And if you didn't see it, you've got to go to the archives on MorningStarTV.com. You can watch it at any time. You can see it. These, they're on there just to download and watch when you're able to watch it, not just on a schedule. So go to MorningStarTV.com if you miss any of these programs. But yesterday was amazing. I thought your incredible testimony of how the Lord really saved your life. Mm-hmm. You were working with Reba McEntire, heard the audible voice of the Lord when you were drunk.
Yeah.
Inebriated.
Highly inebriated.
Yeah. Heard the voice of the Lord, quit the band, quit the thing. You did. Right. 2 months later, Reba's plane crashed. She wasn't on it, but her whole band, and you would have been on there and would have been killed with the rest of her band. And Lord saved your life. And then we talked about the first conference when, quite an amazing thing. That was the first time I'd met Suzy, and you were part of our worship team, and a pillar of cloud shows up in the thing, and it's still one of the highlight events that ever happened. It was an encounter with the Lord. It was a visitation of the Lord, but he let us know this is a foretaste.
Totally.
Just a foretaste. I mean, we have a better covenant than the old covenant. All this stuff that happened then, we should be experiencing better things than that, more glory.
Greater glory.
It says in 2 Corinthians 3. So anyway, you came on, you joined our ministry team and our worship team, and just share with us a little bit about your development, your maturity in the Lord. And you moved to Moravian Falls.
Yes, I left everything. I left the music business and other things, and some good friends of Rick offered me a place to live, so I was living with the family, and then Rick brought me on board, and I started helping Leonard and Dawn with the worship department. It was so awesome, and I didn't know anything, so I didn't know how to turn a computer on, anything. I learned everything here, and I was not really leading at the time, and they taught me. I started writing songs, and one of the best things that happened to all of us here is that Rick encouraged us all to listen, to hear God for our lives, and to hear God for the church and for the people, and for what he wanted to do during the time you're here and where you are, and write those worship songs that would really be fresh. So that's one of the main things that happened here, was we all began to do that. And so I was here for 8 years doing that, and immediately raising other leaders up that were carrying the anointing of God and teaching them the same thing. And because of Rick's permission, all of us really grew. It grew into a wonderful sound, and it spread all over the world. And so then, after I met Kamran here in 2004 at a New Year's conference, then we left. And Rick, in 2006, we left and to go and sort of expand on that. And Rick had a big party for us and
stretched out and
blessed us. And that's what we've been doing. We've been training worshipers and releasing impartation for finding out, how to hear God in worship. It was a really big part of it, and to bring what he's saying into the earth through the music, and still keeping it, worshiping the Lord, and then joining with Kamran and his testimony from being a Shiite Muslim into a Spirit-filled Christian. And we combine our gifts, and we bring a real relaxed atmosphere, and we talk a lot about how to live your life in worship too. That's real big with us, and how to, I also have another testimony that I can tell maybe later, that the Lord had to come to me and help me to learn how to have relationship and not work so much. And this is a good testimony.
Yeah, I probably need to hear that one.
So we're still doing it, and we're also helping people get over their fear of the Muslims, and how to talk to Muslims, and especially non-practicing Muslims. And so we're doing that. And now a lot of things are changing. So now we're being released into more things that we knew would come. And so
well, good.
That's happening.
We're going to be back in just a minute. I want to talk about, Suzy, in some ways, I think she wrote and co-wrote with Paulette some of the really extraordinary songs over the last 15 years. I mean, it really, in some of the top Christian hits, and, the wellspring of songs and the people that didn't know they were songwriters, some of the best, started writing some of the best songs, some of the biggest hits that had been out there. And I think some of them came up through us. They didn't know they were songwriters.
No.
They thought they were backup singers. They thought they would become worship leaders and songwriters. We're going to talk about how to do that because it's the living waters that are in us. And that's all we tried to do, is help them unplug that well. Often the Philistines were always trying to stop up the wells. How to unstop the wells and get that flow, and how people started walking in things they never knew were in here.
Really
and how
right.
you started walking. I remember you telling me, I'm not a worship leader. Well, you were probably one of the best known worship leaders in the world, just not long after that.
Right.
And this is in all of us. It's Christ in you, the hope of glory. We'll be right back. Well, we're here with Kamran and Suzy Yaraei and talking about the incredible journey you went on. You're singing in the secular music business and worked with a lot of great artists, top artists. Meet the Lord, get transformed, come here. And you were on
Meet
a
Rick
worship
Joyner.
team. Yeah, well, but I met Suzy. But I remember talking to you, and you were an incredible help from the beginning. I mean, you one thing that happened was you became a mother.
Right away.
Yeah, and this is a transformation. This is when I knew. I mean, Suzy obviously has an incredible voice. Quickly, we see an amazing songwriter, all this stuff. But what I tell you, when I saw, I think one of the greatest gifts, when I saw Suzy more excited about her kids doing good. I'm talking about kids in our school and all who were emerging worship leaders, many of which, like Suzy, didn't know they were worship leaders.
Right.
You told me when I told you you're a worship leader, you said, no, I'm not. I don't know how to do this. I
don't know what
follow
worship leading
Don.
was.
I can follow Leonard. I can whatever. But
Yeah.
and
That's
in
true.
no time, you were one of the best. I mean, you really were. But you didn't just do it. You helped release others into it. And this is, we have many teachers, but not many fathers and not many mothers who reproduce. And, a true spiritual father and mother, they don't just get excited about what they're doing. They get more excited about what their kids do.
Yes.
And when I would watch Suzy, when those kids were doing great, and
I would just
songs-
cry.
Oh, I know.
So awesome.
And that I said, this is an equiper. This is a father, mother, that we are so in desperate need of. But Brian Whalen, I remember he didn't think he could write songs. But one of the things we did, I forced them into something. I told them they couldn't sing on our stage unless they wrote the song.
Yep.
I said, living waters come out of your innermost being. You can't sing somebody else's song here. You got to write your own. And that hit a block for some people. Then they started writing the most incredible songs. Some of the best, I think, over the last decade and a half came out of a lot of our students, out of you and Paulette and
John Mark, Molly, Josh Baldwin, Kalani Gluckler.
I mean, there's a lot.
They're everywhere. Sarah McMillan, Josh Baldwin, Eric
Molly,
Kirchin, Brandon Willett, Molly Williams.
Oh yeah, we have had a lot. Ramey Hughes.
Oh my gosh, Ramey Whalen.
Whalen, and Brian Whalen.
There's just so many. We're forgetting some.
Yeah,
but there's
and
so many.
there were others. And Don and Leonard Jones and Suzy, I mean, they really poured into these kids, and look at the fruit.
So awesome.
Yeah, but to see, they're all over the place and doing great things. But
and they're encouraging other people now and helping, because it really, the key for us all is to honor our pastors. That's a big thing. Honoring and respecting our pastors, and the pastors then finding a way to let this happen and to give the permission that's needed so that the sound can come out. So this is what we do now. We go everywhere and we say, where is your sound? There's nothing wrong with doing other people's songs. I don't think that's wrong. But like, you're going everywhere and you have this every church is doing the Hillsong, or every church is doing Jesus culture, or every church is doing IHOP. But my heart says, where's your IHOP look like? What does your Jesus culture look like? And because of the permission that you gave us, and the creative release and the creative atmosphere that we created here, it really did make a difference. And you can really feel and be touched by God because you're hearing for now. And so we do encourage that everywhere. And I think a lot of pastors are a little nervous about it because it can get a little messy. So you have
It can get real messy.
It can get real messy. But I think we just need to be brave and be okay and just,
Well,
yeah.
you know, I think there were three major things. First, the Lord, when he told us to start our School of the Spirit meetings, he gave me a mandate. He said, I want you to provide a place where people, his kids, can come and make mistakes and not get condemned. But even made heroes. When you make a mistake, you're trying hard. You're trying. And if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not walking in faith. Peter walked in faith. He got out of the boat. Yeah, he sank, but nobody else got out of the boat.
That's right.
You know, I mean, there's, you may sink, you may mess up, but we determined that we'd rather die of anything but boredom. We said we may die of a lot of things, but boredom is not going to be one of them.
And it hasn't been in my life.
No.
Because of what happened here.
No. And stuff would happen. There's sometimes we would just sit down, knock our heads on the wall. Oh no, what are we going to do with this?
That may not have been the Lord.
Yeah.
At least we're trying to get there.
This one. That's right. But there was something, well, isn't that kind of the situation that he created? I mean, I was sharing with our students this morning in MSU, Jesus in Luke 10, sends them out 2 by 2, preach the gospel, heal the sick, cast out demons. They come back all excited. This all worked. We did it. Demons came out. People got healed. Then in Luke 11, the next chapter, they come to him and ask him, Lord, teach us to pray. Think about this. He sent them out to preach the gospel, heal the sick, cast out demons. They didn't even know how to pray yet. And we want people to be perfect and have so many degrees and everything. But
that's right.
But if you look at his meetings, stuff happened. It was real life. He did most of his ministry out in real life. And I believe if we're the church we're supposed to be, it should be a bigger reflection of real life than it should some choreographed program. And I think the life and God could happen. God will do things.
That's what we talk about in all of our meetings now, real life.
Yeah.
Real life Jesus.
Yeah. He is about life. And we're going to be right back talking about life. Okay, we're here with Suzy and Kamran Yaraei. And I shared with you the last time there were 3 things that I said that I thought helped release what got released here. First was provide a place where people can mess up and not be condemned, but learn from it, because everybody learns from mistakes. And where it's, we make fun of it, we laugh with each other, we can't take ourselves too seriously. We take the Lord seriously, but not ourselves. Yeah. But to create that atmosphere where it's not an uptight, religious perfectionism thing, people can be people. We want children to feel like they can be children here and have a good time, play with their, but it's real life. Church is supposed to be real life. Thing number 2 was, we're going to die of a lot of things. We could die of a lot of things, but we're not going to die of boredom. Okay, that is the worst thing. We're not going to let church get boring. How could God ever be boring?
It seemed like Jesus wasn't bored because they said all the books in the world couldn't contain all the things.
Oh, yeah.
So he was not bored.
No.
All the books in the world.
Yeah, he said the world could not contain. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's adventure.
So we have much more of him to experience.
Yep.
But boredom is an enemy. How could God be bored? If things start getting boring, we have really gotten off track. We have lost track of him,
It's because we're boring.
Exactly. And we've gotten into religion. It's nothing more exciting than the true Christian life. There's no greater adventure. There's nothing more boring than religion. This is the greatest of all adventures.
He can tell you about the boring part of religion for sure.
Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Yeah, we don't want to go there right now, but yeah.
And then, of course, number 3, we said, what was that? I was doing a Governor Perry impersonation, but but there is a number 3, and I did remember it. But it is that I gave the mandate here. I said it's easier to get forgiveness than permission. And I meant it, and we've tried to live by that. You can make mistakes. Don't come and admit your mistakes. You're not going to get condemned. We may beat you up a little bit, but I appreciate initiative. And to maintain
However,
this.
you gave us permission, and that's a real key.
Yeah.
Permission from the leadership changes everything, that they're willing to take a risk and allow that creativity to just grow and just to allow us to hear the Holy Spirit and do the best we can. We think we heard this, and it's going to be hit and miss sometimes, but that made me who I am. That you continually, for 10 years, told all of us, I was here about 10 years on staff, told all of us, be who you are, hear God, bring what you're hearing, and be free, and then you would say sometimes, we'll clean up the mess.
Yeah.
And I think that is really important. We need permission. We need permission, and we need to honor our leaders and everything. But if this thing is going to go, and this thing is going to go like the Lord really will let it go, we need permission, and we need to have that space. And I think that's what happened here.
Yeah.
And all of us as a group, a lot of us, we still talk, 20 of us at least, worship leaders that came out of here. We're always saying how grateful we are that you allowed this atmosphere. And I want everyone to know that, so that some of the pastors can maybe get that in their spirit a little bit, and say, okay, we're ready. Take a risk.
And I'll tell, always, I don't care. We did have some mess ups. It was always worth it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Always worth it. It was
it's good.
a million times more worth it, and it always is, because I'd come in sometimes and I didn't know where in the world you were going, what we were doing. I said, where is this coming from? And it's not looking good right now. And then all of a sudden, whammo, and it is God, and it is, so,
because
we all learn
searching
together.
And we're waiting on the Lord, and we're searching, and then we'll hit it. But sometimes when you're waiting and you're searching, there's a little bit of, and then you hit it, and it's like, that's really how our lives are now. We're following God and what we're in our callings, and the doors are opening as we're stepping out in obedience, sometimes not knowing exactly.
Well, tell us what you're doing now.
So we've been doing worship schools, and we've been releasing healing among people who have had fear of Muslims and things like that all over the world. And now the Middle East is opening up. So some of the things that we'll be doing, still involving worship, probably going into a little bit of a Middle Eastern sound, working with some friends right now out of here, making that sound. And there will be some open air events and some, we're not mentioning the countries right now. We're kind of under the radar sort of still.
Yeah,
and then he'll be preaching, doing stuff like that and talking to leaders. And then I have a new mandate from the Lord. I feel in my heart is I think I'm going to be going into orphanages and making choirs. You know how I used to make choirs here, and we talked about that earlier.
Oh, those were tremendous.
Yeah,
every one of them was
I'm
awesome.
excited. There's a church in South Africa that has 350 children with AIDS, and I asked the pastor if I could go in and make a choir and then bring the choir into the big church. So we're working on that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And that's going to be really cool, because Don and Christine Potter actually might be there with us at that time. So that's.
I got to go to Africa this year.
I know, right? We should go together.
Yeah, it would be great.
Or time it. Yeah. So that's happening, and some of the places we can mention are Dubai's really opening up, and I think India probably, and then Serbia, and different streams. This is what's so exciting. Streams of worship that haven't really learned how to, wonderful hearts, a lot of joy, a lot of awesome people, but haven't yet learned some of the stuff that we learned here because we got the permission. So now we're going into these streams, and they're saying, teach us what you learned and tell us, what's going on. How did you get these songs? And so really, really unique streams that you would never, I've never even seen, because this is the only church, MorningStar is the only church I ever was involved in. I was, I wasn't I was basically
Never
unchurched.
yeah.
And so I'm really excited because the Lord gave me a vision about, in South Africa this year, the Lord showed me a vision. Can I tell the vision real quick?
Yeah.
He came and he was writing in the air with his finger, and he was making these lines, and it looked like rivers. And he was making one here and one here and one here, and I was like, oh, I think I know what that is. I think those are streams, aren't they? And he said, yes, they're streams. They're streams of my church. And I was like, oh, cool. And he kept on doing it and he kept on doing it. And then I was guessing. I kind of guess with Jesus a lot because I like to be. And I said, oh, we're bridges, right? Are you going to show me that we're bridges? We're going to be bridges? And he's like, no. And then none of these streams were touching.
Each other.
None of them were touching.
Wow.
And then he said, you're going to be channel makers, and you're going to raise up channel makers. And then he took his finger and he would take a little channel from one stream to the other, and then from one stream to the other. And then he'd do that. And the streams were all moving fairly well. It wasn't any negative thing about this vision, but when he put that channel like that, I mean, the rush just...
Wow. That is a word.
I mean,
That
it
is a
rushed.
really word. Yeah, a good word.
And now, ever since that, we've been going places where it's happening. So I think he's going to use
connect
us.
the streams.
Yes.
And when we all really stop being silly and judging each other and whatnot, and we just get together and worship,
Yeah.
oh man, the river's going to rush and it's going to roar.
One can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000.
Right.
There's a multiplication
So exciting.
that happens with unity. The body's built up by that which every joint supplies. A joint's not a part, it's where parts come together. Well, we've got to get you back, talk about some of the incredible hits that you've had. One of my favorite, Dance.
Well, let me tell you, Dance, it's on here. It's on both.
Yeah.
Okay, Dance. Kim Walker's recording this on the Jesus Culture CD, where 18,000 youth were worshiping to it in,
Awesome.
where was it? Just recently, the big Jesus Culture in
Washington, maybe?
no, I'm sorry, Chicago or something. Anyway, look for it on the Jesus Culture CD. That's really
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, but some of your great hits, Let's Go Up to the
He's
Mountain.
Alive.
Yeah.
Come, let's go up to the mountain. Everyone loves
Yeah.
He's Alive. And yeah.
Well, many more. Lord, thank you for Suzy and Kamran. And I believe the flow is just beginning. As we connect with others, we're going to multiply too. You don't want to miss tomorrow.